I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Monday, May 20th. The Quincy City Council tonight will hold a public hearing regarding a proposal from Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch to expand the Quincy Center Redevelopment District from 62 up to 130 acres. The expanded area includes the Acapulco's Restaurant building in Quincy Center, which would become a park for President John Quincy Adams, areas to the north of Dimmick Street, including Planet Fitness, which would be home for a new Adams Presidential Center, areas south to School Street, and the Star Market and Granite Place shopping areas. The Planning Board approved the expansion last week. The plan also requires state approval. The amendment would also extend the timeline for the Quincy Center redevelopment project by 20 years to 2047. The Quincy City Council is in the process of reviewing Mayor Thomas Koch's proposed $424 million budgets for the next fiscal year. Budgets for 33 departments have already been approved, with a third and final budget hearing scheduled for June 3rd. As his department's budget was reviewed last week, Quincy Planning Director Jim Fatsis said there has been no slowdown in new development across the city. The proposed budget is a 4.5% increase, or about $18 million more than the current year's budget. The mayor is proposing a new Department of Grant Management, an assistant traffic engineer, new personnel to manage retiree pensions and benefits, and 2 new laborers in the Department of Natural Resources. The new budget takes effect July 1st. Quincy will be getting a new Department of Grant Management. The City Council Finance Committee last week did approve of the new department requested by the mayor at a cost of $300,000. Mayoral spokesman Chris Walker explained the existing city employees paid for with federal grant money will be assigned to the new department. The new department will be led by James Scribby, Operations Supervisor for Economic Development and Business Relations in the Quincy Planning Department. Finance Committee also approved the police department budget for the next fiscal year last week. During a presentation, Chief Mark Kennedy said a high priority is being placed on deterring drug dealers in Quincy. Kennedy said there were 70 fatal drug overdoses in Quincy last year, and so far this year there have been 10 fatal drug overdoses. Quincy police officers using Narcan reversed 74 overdoses last year, and 26 so far this year. Kennedy also said 7 new patrol officers will be sworn in on June 3rd. The South Shore YMCA's recent annual Taste of the South Shore fundraiser being called a huge success. The 26th annual event raised over $365,000 to support youth programs and provide financial aid to families. For the first time, the Taste was held in the Field House at the Hale Family YMCA in Quincy. Lombardo's in Randolph is now closed, so Y officials decided to create a sports theme for this year's event, which was titled Field House of Dreams. Namesakes for the Quincy Y, Karen and Rob Hale, co-hosted the event, which featured food and beverages from over 35 South Shore restaurants. Eat Local, which is a group of 4 restaurants on the South Shore, won Top Taste honors, and Rustic Spirits, based in Weymouth, took home the Top Sip award. More than 100 volunteers went door-to-door to the homes of 2,300 U.S. military veterans in Quincy on Saturday to thank them for their service and to provide them with essential information on resources. The effort was part of the House to House for Heroes event, which was organized by the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office, City of Quincy, and the Massachusetts City's Veterans Service Office. The event's honorary chairperson, 100-year-old Mildred Millie Cox, was one of the first to join the U.S. Marine Corps Women's Reserve during World War II. After the event, all volunteers got the chance to enjoy a complimentary cookout hosted by the Sheriff's Office and the city. Police have arrested a second person in connection with that armed robbery in Randolph. Police said they've arrested and arraigned 20-year-old Anthony Beto from Malden on Friday. There was a massive police presence after the robbery, including officers armed with long guns and canine units in the area around Johnson Drive, where the armed robbery in a vehicle was reported. No one was hurt in the incidents. Police said they were able to make a suspect identified as 18-year-old Sean Culbraith Isles from Malden into custody after a chase on foot. He allegedly took jewelry and a cell phone from a person who'd been robbed in the car. Beto is facing armed robbery, malicious destruction of property, and resisting arrest charges. And Culbraith Isles is facing armed robbery, possession of a firearm without an FID card, possession of burglarious tools, and receiving stolen property charges. Detectives were on scene after the robbery, collecting evidence and dusting for fingerprints. An investigation remains ongoing. 2 off-duty firefighters saved a man's life when he went into cardiac arrest while playing hockey last week. Duxbury firefighter Scott Hill and Braintree firefighter Brian Oriola stepped in Wednesday night when they saw a player become unresponsive during an adult league hockey game at the Habermock Arena. According to the Duxbury Fire Department, during a game on May 15th, a man from the other team became unresponsive and went into cardiac arrest. Hill and Oriola began performing CPR and revived the man with an automated external defibrillator. The man was taken to a local hospital and was expected to recover. The owner of a Brockton driving school paid thousands of dollars to a Massachusetts road test examiner to falsely pass several people who applied for driver's licenses, according to federal prosecutors. Carlos Cardoso was arrested on Friday on grand jury charges of honest services mail fraud and conspiracy, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The 70-year-old is accused of paying between $20,000 and $30,000 in bribes to a road test examiner at the Brockton Registry of Motor Vehicles Service Center to say that applicants passed road tests that they'd either failed or hadn't even taken, resulting in driver's licenses to be issued to people who had not qualified for them. The charge carries a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. Cardoso faced the charges in federal court Friday. Prosecutors didn't share when Cardoso was alleged to have issued the briberies. Last year, a former manager of the Brockton RMV pleaded guilty to federal charges for taking bribes for passing scores on driving tests. It was not immediately clear if Cardoso's case was connected to that one. Boston Medical Center has appointed Dr. Anthony Hollenberg as the new president of the hospital. Hollenberg will report to Dr. Alastair Bell, who will continue to serve as president and CEO of Boston Medical Center Health System. This is the first time BMC has had a hospital president who reports to the system CEO, as a leadership structure that is common in large health systems with academic medical centers. The structural change-up is part of a move by Boston Medical to become a more fully integrated system, according to a news release. Quincy High School will be hosting its annual art show. Beginning today through the 28th in the auditorium lobby, a reception will be held tonight from 5 to 6 p.m. And North Quincy High School will host its annual art show on Thursday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Quincy Public Schools Community Fitness Night is Tuesday from 6 to 7:30 at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Students in kindergarten through grade 5 will participate in fitness activity events and recreational activities, and members of the New England Free Jacks will be offering rugby instruction. The Adams Presidential Center Gala will be held this Thursday from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Boston Marriott Hotel in Quincy. The 2024 John Adams Award and Abigail Adams Award honorees are Rob and Karen Hale, who will be honored during the ticketed event. The Quincy Interfaith Network will host a Brave Space listening session Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church on West Quantum Street. You can email quincyinterfaith@gmail.com for more information. And the 40th Annual Quincy Senior Olympics continues today with a 2-mile walk at Pageant Field and then swimming at the Lincoln Hancock School pool. Closing ceremonies and the awards presentation will be held Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Kennedy Center. A check of business news this morning. Stocks are mixed. The Dow was up 134 points on Friday. The Nasdaq fell 12, and the S&P added 6. World stocks are higher. The dollar rose, the euro was up, and oil at $79 a barrel. In sports, we now know that the Celtics will be playing the Indiana Pacers in the next round of the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 will be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in Boston. Red Sox beat the Cardinals 11-3, and they are in Tampa Bay tonight at 6:50. The National Weather Service forecast for today: morning clouds and then afternoon sun with a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, clear at a low 46. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm, the high of 84 degrees. Wednesday, sunny and hot, the high approaching 90. Thursday could be some afternoon thunderstorms. Still warm, a high of 85 degrees. Out on the water, waves about a foot, a light east wind, high tide 10:09 a.m. Sunrise 5:17, sets at 8:03. Traffic note: Fore River Bridge, scheduled to open today at 10 a.m. and Tuesday at 7 a.m. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Monday, May 20th.